All right, so we're going to deep dive into some NFL quarterback news today.
Okay.
And, this is some pretty interesting stuff, actually.
Yeah.
A bit of a surprise. We've got a Super Bowl winner involved,
Oh, wow.
but not exactly how you might think.
Okay.
So we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
And their starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence,
Right.
well, he's in concussion protocol.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was that hit from Al-Shaair, the linebacker.
I saw that.
Yeah, pretty nasty hit, actually.
Yeah.
Al-Shaair ended up getting suspended for it.
I think that was the right call.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous play. So Lawrence is out for now,
Okay.
and, it kind of makes you think with the Jaguars, they're having a rough season, to put it mildly.
They are.
They're 2-10 right now,
Oof.
tied for the worst record in the league.
Yeah. You got to wonder what they're going to do.
Right, like, should Lawrence even come back this year?
That's a good question.
From a health perspective, obviously he needs to be fully recovered.
Oh, absolutely.
But then there's the strategic side of things.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Like, are the Jaguars maybe thinking about next year already?
Well, with a record like that, you almost have to.
Right.
I mean, that record puts them in a prime position for a top draft pick.
The higher the pick, the better the prospect.
Exactly.
So maybe they're thinking about tanking? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, some people call it that.
Basically, prioritize getting that high draft pick over winning games.
Right. And it's not necessarily about throwing games intentionally. It's more about making decisions that benefit the long-term future of the team.
So in this case, maybe keeping Lawrence sidelined would actually be a strategic move.
It could be. I mean, if they believe a top draft pick is more valuable than a few potential wins right now,
Yeah.
they might choose to let Lawrence recover fully, give some other quarterbacks a chance.
And speaking of other quarterbacks, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The Jaguars just signed John Wolford.
Wolford, the
Yeah, you know him.
Super Bowl ring, right?
He was Matthew Stafford's backup on the LA Rams when they won it all.
Wow, that's right.
But he hasn't really found a steady home since then.
He's bounced around a bit.
He was with the Buccaneers for a while.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now he's in Jacksonville.
And he's probably going to be third string.
Oh, it looks like it, yeah.
Man, the life of a backup quarterback, huh?
It's a wild ride.
One day you're celebrating a Super Bowl victory.
Next day you're fighting for a roster spot.
Exactly. But hey, even as a third stringer, Wolford brings something to the table.
Yeah, what's that?
Experience. That guy's been in high-pressure situations.
He knows what it takes to win.
Right. He's seen how a championship team operates.
That kind of insight can be valuable, even if he never actually plays.
Absolutely. It's about more than just playing the game.
It's about the team dynamic, the leadership.
And think about it. Wolford was undrafted out of Wake Forest.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
To go from undrafted to Super Bowl champion to fighting for a roster spot,
Talk about a journey.
it really speaks to his perseverance.
His dedication to the game.
That kind of attitude can rub off on a team, especially a young team like the Jaguars.
Absolutely.
They could learn a lot from him.
All right, so we've talked about Lawrence, we've talked about Wolford,
Okay.
but what about the other quarterbacks on the Jaguars roster?
Yes, we can't forget about them.
We've got Mac Jones.
Right. He came over from New England hoping for a fresh start.
Showed some potential, but hasn't really lived up to the hype.
Not yet, anyway.
And then there's C.J. Beathard.
Solid backup, good experience.
So where does this signing of Wolford leave those two guys?
Well, it definitely shakes things up.
Yeah, it's like a sudden quarterback competition.
It kind of is, right?
And it's happening in the middle of a season where they're already struggling.
Talk about pressure.
This situation has implications for the rest of the season and maybe even beyond.
Absolutely. Every snap counts now.
So let's recap, okay? We've got the Jaguars maybe strategically positioning themselves for the future. We've got a Super Bowl winner now fighting for a roster spot.
Crazy, right?
And we've got a whole quarterback room full of possibilities.
Lots of potential, lots of uncertainty.
It really makes you think about how we define success in the NFL.
Yeah, it's not always about winning in the moment.
Sometimes it's about building for the future.
Exactly.
What do you think about all this?
I think it's fascinating, honestly.
Me too.
This Jaguar situation is a perfect example of the balance between short-term goals and long-term vision.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in wanting to win every game right now.
It is.
But sometimes you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
You got to trust the process.
And, this whole thing with Wolford.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have predicted that this is where he'd end up?
That's a wild ride for sure.
But it shows that you can never really predict what's going to happen in the NFL.
That's what makes it so exciting.
It's true. Anything is possible.
And that's what makes this Jaguars situation one to watch.
Definitely, it's a story that could have a ripple effect for years to come.
We'll be keeping an eye on it.
So will all the Jaguars fans out there.
And we'll be back next week to break down even more NFL action.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.